Hello and welcome to Final 7 Ministries. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to discuss a short lesson on the statue that is described in Daniel chapter 2. Now there's different parts of this statue that Daniel interpreted from the dream, and we have the head of gold, the chest and arms of silver, the belly and thighs of brass, the legs of iron, and the feet of iron mingled with clay. Daniel went on to explain what these symbolized, and starting with Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar was going to be the beginning of the world empires. Starting with the head of gold, Daniel explained that Nebuchadnezzar was going to be the head of the first major empire, which was Babylon. Then he went on to say that there was going to be other empires that was going to control the world later on, but they would be inferior to Nebuchadnezzar's. As time went on, we had other empires that were in control. Next, we have the chest and arms of silver, which was Medo-Persia, or the Medo-Persian Empire. After that, we had the belly and thighs of brass, which was the Grecian Empire. Next, we have the legs of iron, which was the Roman Empire. Now, there's a lot of controversy on when we get to the next empire, which is the feet of iron and clay, or iron mingled with clay. There is one key feature in this particular empire. The iron element is still connected, in which we know that the iron element was the Roman Empire. There are two ways to approach biblical prophecy. You can either look at an event and see if it fits or not, or you can say, I believe it to be this event, and then begin trying to piece it together from there. If you're trying to piece together a prophecy with a predetermined notion, then you can pretty much make anything fit, which is not necessarily the correct way to look at biblical prophecy. What we should do is look at the scripture, look at the surrounding evidence, and look for things that fit into it to begin with. So if we look at it from this perspective, since we know that the iron portion is Rome, did anything change to the Roman Empire that would have made a drastic impact after its initial fall? And the answer is yes. If we look into history, there was a significant change that happened in the year 800, and that was the crowning of Charlemagne. From there, and over a century later, the Holy Roman Empire was officially created. But until that point, it was still acting almost the same way. There was a political and religious element to that empire. Now, the Holy Roman Empire officially was dissolved in 1806, but all throughout history, the Holy Roman Empire had key elements of political and religious figures in the way that it operated. So, the iron portion of the feet would be Rome, But the clay would be the religious aspect, or also what we would see as the Catholic Church influence into that system. Now, we need to pay attention to another verse, and that is found in Daniel 2 and 44. And in the days, these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to the people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So this particular verse right here is talking about the second coming of the Lord. The previous verse was describing this kingdom with iron mingled with clay, right up until the point where the second returning of the Lord comes in. So, with that in mind, we can take a step back. Is there any influence in today's society where there's a Roman element or something like it? Is there a religious element or something like it in these same regions? And while the original structure of the Holy Roman Empire isn't there at the moment, we can see evidences where this is re-emerging. We see the European nations that has formed together since November 1st of 1993. And the EU is continuously gaining ground now along with the United Nations, and they're doing everything that they can to strengthen together and to be one entity. As well, we see the Catholic Church continuously trying to bring the world together. And we even see evidences where the Catholic Church is continuously trying to unify itself, as well as the Pope calling for a stronger unification of the Catholic Church. So, with Daniel 2 and 44, there isn't any other empire mentioned. So the only conclusion is that the Holy Roman Empire aspect isn't done. It just is going to look different than it has been in the past. And it's very quite possible that it will turn back into something that resembled what it used to look like in the past, where once this is recombined with the church and the unified Europe and other countries, where you have a religious element and a political element, we may see this again right before the Lord returns. Another key element in Daniel is talking about the 10 toes. These 10 toes are going to be kingdoms. Now, it doesn't say exactly which kingdoms these were or which countries these were, but in the future, we're going to be looking for a representation of 10 countries that is working together for a very specific purpose. In other passages, these 10 toes are also called 10 horns. In other passage, it's also known by the 10 kings. We will continue more on this subject in our next lesson, and we will talk about the beasts in Daniel 7, what their significance is, along with Daniel 2 and in Revelation 13. I hope you've enjoyed this teaching, and we'll see you in the next video.